Hello everybody, today we're going to be playing one of my all-time favorite games, Enter the Gungeon. This is a very traditional roguelike game, so let's just jump right in. We'll be playing as the pilot today. This is a game I've put nearly 100 hours into. I know it very well, and it's one of the coolest roguelikes in existence, honestly. The sequel, Exit the Gungeon, I've put quite a little bit of time into as well. So I hope you can all just sit back and enjoy. And hopefully I'll have some meaningful discussion on the genre as we head off into the Gungeon. The first thing you'll notice is that everything is gun themed. The currency is shell casings. All the items we're going to get have various gun puns. The enemies are bullets. Very on the nose from Devolver Games, but it's got a lot of charm, got a lot of heart, and if we die, we start back at level 1, so we're going to try not to do that. One of the coolest features about the pilot is that he has these lockpicks. We won't have to use them this time. But should we come across any chests when we don't have any keys, we will be forced to use the lockpicks to try and open them up. It's a very high risk, high reward sort of move, but that's exactly the type of play style that I usually respond very highly to. These enemies here are rubber bullets. They don't do any damage to you, but they bounce you around if you get hit by one. So this game has a lot of sort of jerk reactions and dodging and maneuvering your character. All skills that I've picked up over my 100 hours of playing. My first few runs did not look nearly this clean. But that's how the roguelike genre is. You get better. Learn. I'm hoping to showcase that when we get to some of these roguelikes I haven't played yet later in this series. And we took our first hit right there, unfortunate, but not the biggest problem in the world. Alright, made it out of there without too much fuss. Really, I'm just looking for resources right now. Here we've got a chest here, we'll try and use the lockpicks. And it didn't work, unfortunate. We did get some junk. A hearty consolation for breaking open a chest instead of opening it properly. Alright, looks like that's that for the entire floor. Let's go into the boss fight. How this game works is that there are 5 major floors, each with a final boss at the end. If we can clear all of them in one sitting, we win. So it's really just a sort of a dance between these bullets. As you can see, when I dodge roll here with the trigger, I cannot be hit by any of the enemy attacks. So that really leads to the major motion of the game, this weaving in and out as well as rolling in order to avoid any projectiles. Unfortunately, we took a hit right at the end there, but no problem. Move on to floor 2. Beating a boss without getting hit actually gets you an item that increases your health, but we can live without it. So, and each of the weapons has a unique play style. You can see this one, every time I reload, switches from a projectile gun to a laser gun. So being cognizant of that is going to improve how we play. Now these are taser rounds. They're like rubber bullets, but they do damage. So as you can see, the floors get more difficult the further we progress. More enemies, more difficult enemies, harder rooms to navigate. And that's what makes the game so fun. So even if I didn't make it to floor 5 on my first attempt, I learned some skills that'll help me get even further the next time around. So a little bit of the backstory of this game is that we are a traveler coming from different backgrounds. One of 5 major characters who is trying to outlive the sins of their past, and the way that they're trying to do that is by literally killing the past with the gun that can shoot back in time. So that is what awaits us at the end of the floor, floor 5 here. That is the treasure we're seeking, and we will defeat anybody in our path to get that. We'll just be doing sort of a casual run here. There are plenty of challenge runs that you can do optionally, as well as sort of hidden secrets that the Gungeon has to offer. But I won't spoil them, so that should you be interested in playing this yourself, you're more than welcome to discover them on your own. So this game has different roguelike and roguelite tendencies. As you do certain achievements or play a certain amount, you'll unlock different weapons that can be randomly rolled here in the Gungeon. While nothing's explicitly better than any other gun, there are certainly some guns that, in my opinion, are better. But there's nothing that you can't beat the game with. There's just guns that make it easier to do so, skills, and different abilities that increase the chances of you making it through the floor. But with enough skill and learning the boss's patterns, there's really not much that can stop you from finding a win. It's all just about learning the patterns. Unfortunate. Super unfortunate. And making it happen. These fights are just as much about endurance as they are about learning the pattern. It's one thing to be able to do the pattern, it is a complete other thing to be able to do it consistently as the boss fight continues into the 4th, 5th minute. Let's see, did we explore the entire floor? We sure did. On floor 3. If you think for a second that I'm making this look easy by any means, don't worry. The game's plenty difficult, as we will probably be seeing in the later rounds here. And this is just sort of hours and hours and hours of practice. Now we just picked up a loot bag in that last, perfect demonstration. If I get hit, I drop money now, so we don't want to get hit. So we'll collect more money per enemy, but if we get hit, we're going to drop someone and we'll have to scramble to pick it back up really quick. So really going to incentivize us to play cleanly. Make sure that we're not making any unnecessary errors here. Speaking of unnecessary errors. Alright, we'll just wait for the fire to be put out. Nice. So we need to go this way. Alright, our first item pickup, we got some chaff grenades. You may recognize these out of Metal Gear Solid. So there are tons of zany references to other games all throughout the inventory of this game. Get out of the minecarts. those will replenish over time, as you can see with that white bar I've got there. Definitely one of the coolest games I've ever played. The learning curve for this is so fun, making it just a little bit further each time. I couldn't begin to describe how many failed run attempts I had at this before I quote-unquote got good. And just learning how all the enemies behave, what they're going to do, sort of internalizing how they're going to interact together. Kind of a bad spot here. Alright, but we focused up and got out of it. Definitely dropping a little bit more money than we are picking up, so we gotta be a bit safer here. I know my playstyle is usually a bit gung-ho. Here we have our first example of a jammed enemy, those sort of darker rounds that they're sending at me. Sort of a play on a jammed gun. They're jammed bullets, and they are not good. You do not want to get hit by them. They do double damage. All right. Store's not really providing anything crazy valuable. So we'll just save our money or drop it on the floor for now. So a lot of these attacks look really visually like intense and sort of stimulation overload. Once you identify how to get through, they're not too terrible. So everything's bouncing around in this room. And you've got to be really careful when those attacks intersect like they just did. I disagree, but okay. Not a terrible fight. Wish it was a little bit cleaner, but we're making fine progress. Buy a half heart here just for the sake of safety. Floor 4, 2 to go. We are not doing bad on time at all.
Whack.
So now this gun has sort of this active reload, where when I reload the gun, if I get the timing right, I'll get a boost. If I get the timing wrong,
Nice.
I will I will not get the boost. So it's a game within a game. I have to sort of play this rhythm game every time I reload. And here we have a friendly face here. This is Winchester. We can play this little mini game where we get 4 shots and we have to shoot these targets. All right, so we got the easy ones, and now we've got some that are a bit tougher to line up. Can we get 4 out of 4 here? Oof, nope. But we'll take a pretty nice chest out of that. All right, and we got the Knight's gun. This is a Shovel Knight reference. I'm using the Shovel Knight shovel here. Another great game. So like I said, there are references to all sorts of video games in this one. Gotta be careful when that guy's doing his circular attack. He can redirect any bullets you send at him, so it's really important that you shoot him at the right time. So there's a lot of sort of visual noise happening right now, and one of the cool things about Gungeon is learning how to sort of triage what's relevant and what's not. There's a lot of stuff going on, but what's an active threat to me? Where are the enemies looking to move? My eyes are always darting in this game, which is a really cool sort of feeling, right? Sort of constant assessing of threats, of danger, keeps you on your toes. C4. Nice. If you were wondering if that was a Dark Nut strat out of Zelda, it sure was. I think we will pass on the items once again. We're getting quite a bit from the floor loot, and that's sort of another fun thing about Gungeon is that no two runs are the same, right? These floors randomly generated. I do not know where I'm going. I'm just following the path that's laid out. What new rooms open up as we beat some rooms. And the guns that are in the chests are random to me. I do not know what my sort of loadout build is going to be until we go and do it. Alright, we just got our first piece of armor. Armor acts just like health, but it will clear all the bullets off screen if I get hit while I have armor on, and I lose the armor. So, it works like half a heart. One armor is half a heart. Which, while we're not super low on, I do want to make sure that we get a little bit more health. Maybe that's worth buying in the store. Let's see what our friend the storekeep has for us. Full heart. Armor, sure. And we'll go fight boss 4. Alright, and our first perfect boss. No hits, no damage. A lot of hegemony credits from that. And we get our master round, which is going to increase our health. Alright. Fun run so far. We're looking pretty stacked going into the final floor here. Floor 5, the Forge. The theme of this floor is that everything's going to be on fire, so we'll just have to get used to that. For whatever reason, the higher floors with the higher intensity, it's a little easier to navigate because you're almost less conditioned to take it easy, to take it, you know, you're focusing up. Hyper aware, whereas on the easier floors, like, oh, these enemies are so easy, I don't need to worry about it. And you can fall into silly errors. Luckily, all these boss chambers we've had have had a lot of cover. They don't always have that. Alright, and just like that, we're back to full health. Looks like there's a chest in here. Another gun. So I have been liking the Shovel Knight weapon. Alright, and here is the final store here in the forge. Don't really think we need anything right at this moment. We'll buy the broccoli. Makes you strong. Alright, now we're just looking for the final boss. I think we're pretty much equipped to fight it. So it's just now worrying about everything that's in between us and them. Unfortunate. Alright, we're still looking for that final chamber here. Find a lot of enemies. Sometimes you can sort of read where the Gungeon's leading you. You want to avoid circular paths that are sort of going to wind back towards itself. You want to sort of tread off in a new direction. Got this sort of bottom left section, and then this left, making a left here. Here we go. I think we'll save exploring the entire floor. We'll just go straight to the final boss. We've got more than enough juice to beat him. So this is the dragon. Let's see if we have what it takes. That right there is one of my favorite attacks. All right. Okay, now that those guys are done, we can focus back on the dragon. A bit of focusing up to do. Like I said, it's a marathon. This is not a sprint. You can only do so much damage to him. So we really have to make sure that we're in this for the long run, not for the... My least favorite attacks is this one. Ugh. Right there, we got one hit left. All right. Made it to the final section. If we can get through this, we'll win. That's pretty much all on me to do that. We have to do that section a few times. Unfortunate reload. All right, one more. Whew. On half half a heart, we clutch it out. All right. Oh no. Oh boy. Well, the game giveth and the game taketh away. We didn't spoil the ending, and I think that's good. We will just call it there. A fun little venture through an awesome game. Thank you all for joining. This has been Enter the Gungeon. I am 404 Ethan Not Found. Check out 404ethannotfound.com for some more analysis on the roguelike genre. Have a good one.